2, 1, you're on the air.
Good evening. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. This is the Environmental Conservation Board for August 6th, 2020, starting at 7:35 here. We have an agenda we'll stick to this evening with 3 items on it. Just as a order of business, when you come up to the mic, please make sure you're speaking directly into the mic. If you're wearing a face mask, just to make sure we pick that up. Another note that we may or may not be broadcasting live this evening, but regardless, it will be recorded and will be put online and available on the local channels once it's available. All right. So first applicant this evening is New York City DEP for Croton Falls Dam. This is tax map 77.2-7-2, drilling of 4 boreholes. Please come up, state your name.
Sure. My name is Paul Costa. I'm with New York City Department of Environmental Protection. I'm the portfolio manager for this project.
Thank you, Mr. Costa. So it's been a little while, I think, since you've come before us. If you could just briefly describe the project, and then also I know that you had sent comments.
Sure.
Comments, just go over from that.
So this project is for the refacing of the Croton Falls Dam. Right now, we're currently in the design phase, and what we're looking to do is take borings, soil borings in front of the dam, and some corings of the concrete of the dam. Both the borings are, shallow borings, not too deep. I think the deepest we go is about 20 feet. How deep are we going? 10 feet right now. We're going 10 feet deep in the soil, so not that deep. And the cores are just going shortly into the dam. And basically, we came before the town because we wanted to make sure we didn't need any permits. We wanted to clear up that we didn't need any wetland permits, given the site. So we had laid everything out. We had responded to some questions, but due to COVID, we kind of slowed things down. So we're back before you. We gave the responses, and we're looking for, either a permit or permission to proceed.
Just the only thing you're looking for is a permit to do the borings, correct?
Correct.
The preface that you were looking for, I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, so I know that once before you'd come here, we gave you a bunch of comments to follow up on. I know that you had sent an email on July 1st addressing many of those comments, or a letter, I should say, that is in the file here. I think we only have one copy. But we can go through these, and also some from my notes on here. And of course, for the benefit of anyone else on the board who might not have been in that meeting, Vince, were you there? No, okay. So if you have any further other questions as well, please bring them up. So do you have a copy of this with you, the responses that you'd sent us?
I have it on my phone, and we have a copy, yes.
Okay. So we can go through my notes just to make sure we cover a lot of those stuff, and then anything else in the comments here, if you'd like to bring them up to the board as well, we can do that.
Sure.
One of the first things we asked for was the material data sheets on any mud and concrete for both, anything that you were including, submitted to the file. So if you can just give a positive confirmation that you sent that in.
Yes. Yeah, we sent it all in.
Let's see. We indicated that there was going to be a rig on site, and again, this is the last time you were here, just for the record as well, was February 20th. So that we indicated there was going to be a rig on site. We needed a fueling plan, a spill plan, and a spill kit, what you're going to be doing with that, and then any information on overnight parking. Namely, we had requested that it be on Poly or outside of the area.
Right, correct.
Addressed all of those?
Yep. Yes.
One of the other comments was keeping the hole closed at night, so any of the boreholes. Is that, I'm not sure if I saw that in here. Did you include that in?
They'll be secured at night, correct.
Excellent, okay. Silt fence around the rigs, and especially at night.
Absolutely.
We asked for the driller's license, if you were able to get that.
And Diego, just for the record, introduce yourself. Yes. Diego's a geotech consultant under contract with the city. Just introduce who you are, what you're with.
Please state your name for the record.
Yeah, it's Diego Rivera, Diego Rivera. Yeah, I'm with Riso International, and we are subcontractors of Hatch.
Got it. Thank you. Okay. So we do have a copy of that in the file, is that correct? The driller's license that was submitted?
I believe so. Yeah, it should be, it was part of the package.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, I think, actually, I did see there's a picture of it.
It's Appendix C,
Got it.
or attachment.
I got it. Thank you. Let's see. Core plan and collection of spoils. I did actually see that when I read that in here, in your package that you submitted. And the deed for the property. I don't know if I saw that. Did you
Yeah,
submit the deed?
I don't know if we were able to like come up with a deed. I mean, it's a city property. We didn't seek the deed. I guess we could get that from our lands people. I don't know if we pursued that fully. What was our answer there? I forget. Which question was that?
That was the last comment I had from the February 20th, was we just needed some sort of proof of ownership of the property.
Yeah, no, we didn't provide anything on that because, I mean, and we didn't contact the board to discuss it, but, you know, it's the city property. I don't know if it's, you know, the deeded, I mean, we can search for a deed, but I think we assumed in front of the dam being city property, we didn't think we needed a deed, like maybe.
Our problem is that code says he has to give, that's a problem.
Okay.
We just have to be sure the owner. He'll get deeds if he.
Okay, we can pursue that. To be honest with you, I apologize, we didn't really pursue it, so I'm not saying we can't get it. We could get that. We could work on that. We didn't pursue it enough. Yep. Okay, with that, we can certainly get to you before you give us, you know, any
We
approval.
want to see if the New York State document, we have to work on.
Understood. Gotcha. Now, we'll pursue that. We neglected to do that. We'll do that now.
All right. Are there any other comments from the board or questions?
No, I like the, see,
Okay. Are we?
there's only four
Holes you're gonna go, right?
Correct.
Right,
And 4 cores.
right, 4 cores, right,
So
This
four,
is the-
4 and 4.
yeah.
What are you trying to determine? Contamination?
So, yeah, sure. So the refacing of the dam will, to a certain degree, be bearing on the soil in front of the dam, because you'll have blocks on the face of the dam, which will, to some degree, be supported by the ground. And that ground, we need to get the properties of that soil, so the foundation of the
So you're
facade.
reinforcing it? Is that what you do?
No, well, right now, what we're doing is getting the properties, and there'll be like like a footing, if you will, on within the soil to like, in part, support the face of the dam. So we need the soil properties to design that foundation.
How old is the structure itself? How
Excuse-
old is the structure? When was it built?
Oh, it's got, I think it's coming up on over a little 100 years, coming up on it. Yeah, it would be,
Has this been done before? Have there been some before this? I would.
well, I'll say this, DEP hasn't done a refacing job before. We've done, where the face of the dam is in different shapes, like Kensico Dam. We've done it where we've cleaned the stone. We've had those opportunities here. It's just really not feasible to work within the existing structure. So, Diego, you can speak to other examples around the country that they have done this
Yeah,
before,
no,
but
just-
DEP hasn't. yet.
Just wondering about this one, that's all.
Yeah, DEP hasn't, but it's been done around
Okay,
around
thank
the
you.
country.
But it's becoming something quite popular.
Use the
Yeah.
mic?
It's becoming something more common nowadays with these old dams requiring
Right.
some repairs and whatnot. So, yeah, it's a common repair.
Old is the operative word.
All right, so I think this is for a letter of permission. Does anyone have any concerns or issues with that?
There's no work in the wetland buffer or anything like that, right?
Well, they're within the buffer of
Well,
the lake,
of
but
the
not
lake, yeah.
wetlands, right?
Right.
Well, the lake is a wetland,
Correct.
Fair.
but they're not working in it.
All right. Okay, so I think all we need is the deed, but we can, I have no problem putting a contingent on that.
That's fine.
Anyone else all right with
We'll work
that?
on that right away.
Sure. All right, so I'd like to entertain a motion for granting a letter of permission for the New York City DEP, tax map 77-2-7-2, and this is for drilling for 4 boreholes.
Four,
Do I-
four cores, too.
4 cores, right.
Four holes and four.
4 holes and 4 cores, or bore holes and 4 cores. Do I have a motion? Oh, with the contingent on, sorry, on the deed being provided. Do we have to put a time stipulation on this by, can you,
Well,
do you think?
You won't get the permit until we get the deed. that's
Right.
all.
That's fine. Here, you could wait on that.
Contingent on the
We'll get it
deed.
to you, yeah, we'll get it to you. We'll coordinate that with Rose.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion?
So
I'll
moved.
make the,
Second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So you are granted. So you can, as soon as you get that to Rose, they'll fill out your letter of permission and you can get started. When, just so I know, when do you guys plan on get started on that?
We're hoping in like 2 weeks. I mean, we have to get, the driller's got to get his availability, so we'll first get you the deed, get that letter, but we'll start talking with the driller and start setting up. We'll figure 2 to 3 weeks we'd get started.
You have
And
to-
then,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and then we only got a couple of days of work out there.
Yeah, when you put up any erosion control, you have to get town engineer to take a look at it.
Okay, we could do that. So call the town to come look at it once we set up?
Yes.
You got it. Mike Carnazza?
No.
Oh, no, who? Through Rose?
It's,
Franzetti.
yeah.
Oh,
Rich
Franzetti, sure.
Yeah.
So we'll call Rich to come out there once we set up the erosion control. You got it.
Awesome. All right.
All right, guys,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. Stay safe, stay well.
Yeah, you
You
too.
guys as well.
The application, after the amendments, the application was very good.
Very complete. Do you have any papers?
No.
Okay. For letters of permission, there's nothing in here for me to sign, right? I didn't see any. There was, on the application, there was no space to sign.
No, we have a, EIF, you know,
The EAF? I didn't see it in here.
oh, okay. We'll just have to wait on that.
I guess so. Yeah, the only things in here were the, the EAF the applicant filled out, and they
What's
signed
that?
it.
Oh, that's, okay. that's not- No, we can't take it here. You have to give it to Rose. Now,
Yeah.
one other thing, was there enough copies of the application in there? Because you said you only had one.
Yes, no, there's plenty of applications.
Oh, okay,
All of
fine.
these, yeah, we have
Okay.
plenty of applications.
Oh, the amendments. Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you.
All right. Moving on. Number 2 on the agenda for this evening is Penny Michael, SMP Homes, 10 Lower Lake Road, tax map 43.17-1-47, construction of a single-family home. We have them here this evening. Doesn't look like it, then we'll move on. Third thing on the agenda, White Sail Condominiums, care of Lionsgate Property Management, 4 Marina Drive, tax map 76.5-1-52, replace existing retaining wall. Please come up, state your name.
My name is Paul Revens. I'm the engineer on the project.
You were here before, right?
I was here for a different project.
Oh, okay.
That was for
For
Water
the
Club.
same property though, right?
Same property.
No.
Different property.
Water Club is different than White Sail. It's around the corner.
Right,
Got it, okay.
okay.
All right, Mr. Evans, so tell us why you're here this evening while I pass out the information.
Okay, you have copies of the plans with you, right? So there's a wooden retaining wall on the western side of the property that they want to replace. It's about a 4-foot-high wall. They want to replace it with a precast concrete stone. And the wall's approximately 120 feet long. The last 20 feet or so kind of goes into the water. There's some photos in the application package. On the plans on sheet 4.
Make it easy. 3 and 4.
What's existing there now? I think I saw it in,
It's a wooden retaining
it's
wall.
wooden. retaining.
Yeah, it's like 4x4 posts laid on horizontally.
Is this it?
There was 2 packets I just gave you. So one gonna be
Do you have any
passed on.
provision, you're going, part of it's in the water, right? Do you have any provisions for a boom? Curtain or a curtain or a boom out
Yeah,
there?
so I showed the boom in the water.
Okay.
I have the spill kit shown on the plans.
Okay, spill kit, what
And
about?
actually, today, I also just got the permission from DEP
Yeah, I know, we got that, but
Okay.
what about a curtain in the water for where the work is being done?
Well, the boom and the turbidity curtain, it's on the
Okay.
plans in the water, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a detail shown in the,
Okay.
on sheet 3,
When do you hope to do the work?
after Labor Day.
Okay. What's the elevation of the water out there now?
18 inches.
And is that the deepest part at the end of the wall is most of your
Yeah.
water?
Yes.
Not 18 inches?
I mean, maybe up to 2 feet, depending upon how the water fluctuates, but yeah, it's not very deep.
Are you hoping to do it if the level of the lake goes down? Is that what you're hoping?
Excuse me?
Do you hope to do it after the level, if the level of the water in the lake goes down?
So our method is to employ using a helical pile system.
Okay.
So that we can drill without having to excavate in the
Okay.
water.
Okay.
And then we're going to put the precast concrete right on top of brackets.
So you're going to be working in the water?
Yes,
And that end? Yeah.
yes. So those details are on sheet 5.
Right, yeah. And you have provision for a spill kit, right?
Spill kit shown on the plans also.
Okay. And how long do you think it's going to take?
Well, I would like to say 2 weeks.
Okay.
Depending upon weather.
During that time, mechanical equipment's going to be on site, right?
Excuse me?
During that time, mechanical equipment.
Yes, so the building has a visitor parking area,
Okay,
which we will fence off, and we'll put everything on 7 mil plastic.
okay, good, that's what I wanted to hear, okay.
Does the visitor parking area, where is that located? Is that right next to where the
It's
fence
right
is?
next to the wall, yes.
So but how far is that, approximately, how far is that from the actual water line? Like, I'm looking at the overhead pictures right now, it looks like, I don't know,
So from the back of the building, that's about 50 feet.
okay. Are there any existing storm drains or anything there that's running into the lake from this parking lot?
Not on that side that I can see. If you go all the way over to the east, there is a drain, but it doesn't come into the lake. It stops at the wall. It's like a big giant weep hole in the wall.
Got it. Do we
But
want to?
that's all the way on the other side of the building.
Do you think it's necessary to park on Poly?
He said he's going
Are
to.
you going to? Park on Poly on the,
I thought he said he was
In the
going to.
parking lot.
yeah,
This
in
is
the parking lot, overnight?
Yes.
Got it, okay.
You're gonna-
I missed that part.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Wait, well, let's be clear, you're going to be parking vehicles on Poly in the parking lot.
Correct.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
So how are you going to be, is there an ability for you to get, what kind of machine are you going to get in there to drive those piles? And how are you going to do that?
Literally, it's a small little machine. It's about 30 inches wide.
Okay,
About how many do you have?
You really can't see it in the aerial photo, but there's a 15-foot wide path between the wall and the end of the building that allows you to get to the back,
got
to
it.
the lake side of the building.
And then, go ahead.
Actually, you might see that in the pictures. You could see the path on the side of the building.
This is right next to Swan Cove?
Correct.
Yeah.
I gotcha, okay, I know where this is then. So, how far is the boundary line, what is it, what's the boundary between where the actual wall is and the property line? Is it a couple of feet? I couldn't really tell
It
from.
appears that the wall is on the property line.
So are you gonna be going, obviously the work needs to be going over into the Swan Cove property?
Yes, and we would need to coordinate.
Pardon?
We need to coordinate with whatever work is going on over there.
Can you, just put the mic up a little bit further? Just a-
We would need to coordinate with whatever work is going on over there.
Got it, okay.
Did you know the extent of the work that's going on over there?
Yeah, they have a deed. I was looking through this
It
deed.
might be good, I don't know what you think, probably they should get something in writing from Swan, owners of Swan Cove.
That's the town.
Yeah. okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Saying-
that too.
Yeah. Because they're going to be working on someone else's property.
So, town currently owns Swan Cove, as you probably know. Yeah, we're talking about here is if there's gonna be any, working, moving into their property, putting machines onto that property, you need to get something in writing from current owners, which is my understanding is the town, saying that it's fine for you to do that.
Right, I've been trying to pursue that, so who should I be talking to get that? Because I got some conflicting information.
I'd start with the supervisor's office. And then he'll direct you where you. if
Okay,
there's
because
someone else.
somebody mentioned planning board, but I don't see a contact number, so.
I don't know if the planning board has,
I don't-
they don't have any jurisdiction over what happens on the properties
Okay.
of the town.
Did you check with the town supervisor's office?
I will.
Okay, I would start there.
Yeah, and you should, I mean, to be clear, right, the current fence is on this property. It's not actually, this wooden fence that you're taking down, the railroad tie fence here, that's not traversing into Swan Cove property, is it?
No, from the way I read the survey, it is the property line.
It is.
a property line, yeah.
So if that's the case, yeah, I mean, you're definitely gonna have to get some sort of writing saying it's okay, but if it starts where where it actually traverses into the property of the other property, you're gonna need probably more permission than just, it's okay to, remove the railroad ties. Yeah. That's the same one he has in here. Whatever, I agree, I think you should start with the town supervisor, and see if there's anything there, and see if he can direct you to the right place. I mean, for our purposes, we're fine with taking a letter, a simple letter saying it's fine for the owners of the Whitesdale condominiums to do work or to traverse into that property in order to do the work. A simple letter will suffice, as long as we know that the owner of that property is fine with whatever work is being done.
Okay.
Let's see. Did you have any other questions on this
No.
one? I mean, I reviewed it pretty in-depth too before. I did see wetlands inspector, I did see silt fencing. Are you gonna be putting any sort of silt fencing down? I know I saw in here construction fencing, but,
Silt fence details on sheet 3.
details, right, but I'm trying to find the plan on where you actually have where you're gonna be putting
Oh,
the silt.
you want it labeled on the plan? Well,
Pardon me?
Yeah.
you want to see on the plan where the silt
Yes.
fence is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it would be within the work area.
Right. I assume it would be on the bottom side of the current fence. But obviously, you're gonna need to, I mean, that literally will be on Swan Cove property if you're putting silt fence on the bottom side of that fence.
Right.
So,
Listen, I'm meeting with the contractors tomorrow, potential contractors. If they think that they could do all the work from the white sail side, is this going to be, do I still need to go to the town supervisor and get their permission?
yeah, there's no way that I'll leave it to the
If you're on the
contractor,
property
but
line,
yeah.
you're going to be, somebody's going to step across the line. And I don't mean to be trivial about it, but, it's
Right.
going to happen. I mean,
Okay.
But also
and it's really,
importantly,
it's better for you too, because then you don't have to worry about, hey, we got to be careful, okay? If you already got permission, then you're okay.
Okay.
also, to be frank here, you have to put, we're expecting to see silt fence on that side of the property line, because any work that you're doing there will
Yeah.
need to have silt fence between that and the water body, which will have to be in that property. With regards to a boom, I didn't quite see, well, actually, I did. I think that was.
Is that on the
I
plan?
think that was on the plan, if I'm
Boom
not
is on the
mistaken.
plans.
Yeah, the boom, end of your boom is also terminating on Swan Cove property.
True.
So that will need to be another reason to get the permission to do this.
Okay.
Did you have do you have dock pile area listed out anywhere? I assume that's gonna be in the parking lot,
That's
but
gonna all be in the parking lot, and we're gonna put up a temporary fence.
Is it on the
around
plan?
those. Yeah, so you see a temporary fence that we're gonna have to put up in the parking lot? It's shown on
temporary
the plan.
construction fence, yeah, location of equipment, storage, fueling station, 6 mil poly. I see storage, but can you also amend that red one to say stockpile?
Stockpile.
Because obviously, you're gonna get a lot, what are you replacing? You're replacing it with precast,
Precast concrete.
right, concrete. So all of those timbers are gonna be pulled out of there. Are any of the timbers, is anything rotting out right now? Or is it all mainly one big pieces here?
Some of it's bulging, particularly as you go towards the water side. Bulging and
Right.
and leaning.
Right, so even more so reason to make sure we're having silt fence in that boom, because, I mean, I know these projects with these old timbers, they can get messy. I read in here also that you're handling, that you were going to be handling the dead men sort of as it comes. Can you give a little explanation to the board about, what do you mean by that? You're gonna cut it and just leave the dead men in there? Are you gonna attempt to remove them? Is it going to be on a case-by-case basis?
We're probably just gonna attempt to remove it, because we're gonna have to still backfill with some gravel behind the precast concrete, so in all likelihood, they'll be removed.
Got it. So you are gonna be bringing in fill, is that correct?
The gravel, yes,
We're gonna need a certificate of clean fill on that.
gotcha.
Where's my list? All right. Site plan, topography, use of areas. Drainage. Okay, so drainage. I did also see that the precast concrete has standard drainage systems that it puts in place, where it has the perforated pipe behind it, and then it has holes where it actually puts through to the other side. Do we have to worry about any of that? I mean, on the lake, it's just gonna be draining directly into the lake, but obviously it's gonna be going through the fill. I'm not really sure what to do about that.
I don't know, that might be a Franzetti question, what he wants to do there. Because if it's coming off some impervious areas, it might be carrying stuff in it, like going to the lake.
So what's the question?
So what we're discussing here is, in the way that you have the drainage outlined in your details of these precast concrete, it is a pipe that comes through, an impervious pipe, a unperforated pipe that comes through with perforated pipe behind it. That's a pretty standard configuration. However, the water that is being actually put through, it's going to be, we're discussing whether or not that's coming from an impervious surface, or if it's coming from the actual, I mean, I guess in this case it would be grass.
I mean, it's
which is what you can
filtering
see
through
right
the
now.
grass and soil, and then coming out through a weep hole.
Weep hole, that's a good way to describe it.
Okay.
So the, above this, I want to make sure I understand how this is being constructed. Behind the wall here, you're going to put a couple of feet from the bottom all the way up tapered of gravel, and then at the top of the gravel, are you going to be growing gravel all the way to the top, or are you putting topsoil above it all the way to the blocks?
Topsoil.
How thick is it, do you know about how thick you're going to make that topsoil?
That's probably about 4 to 6 inches.
Is that specified in here?
No, but you can scale it just from the drawing.
Topsoil, 6 inches, 2 blocks. Weep hole. Some of the other things, the problem is they're right on the property line. The one thing I was thinking was, as you get closer to the lake, you could, instead of putting weep holes through, you just make it go all the way down until you're further inland, and then have it drain that way. So at least it's going onto the property. But because he's on the this is right on the property line, any water that's coming off there is going to go directly into somebody else's property. Obviously, the Swan Cove property. What we're trying to avoid
Right now,
is,
any water runoff that's there now is just probably going over the top of the walls. I
so
mean,
what we're trying to avoid is surface water taking contaminants from the ground, namely impervious surface, and going directly into the lake. We wanted to hit some sort of a barrier or holding area or an area that it will seep into the ground and then go into the lake to allow for more filtration.
So instead of having all these weed poles, I could just run one continuous drain pipe all the way close, as far inland as possible, and then just have like one big weed pole over there?
And that's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't know how far in you could go and still, I mean, what are you using, 4-inch pipe, 2-inch pipe, 6-inch, you know?
Yeah, I can.
I mean, I
can
guess
go
in the
with,
back
you know,
you could use
4-inch
whatever you
pipe
want.
on that.
What was that?
The main perforated pipe, I can get it probably like 6 inches.
I think I would prefer that, but again, it's gonna be, it's back and forth, right? I think I would personally prefer that, if the water, that water was actually, you know, draining further from the lake and allowing a little bit more time to percolate. If I'm not mistaken, I also saw that you submitted, there was a white sale, we hereby authorize, right, Paul Rose filed by us, White Sale Condominiums, care of Lionsgate Property Management. So I just want to also make clear, this is the property management firm Lionsgate is the ones doing, proposing this work, or is this coming specifically from White Sale Condominiums, which I assume is the owner of this property?
The Whitesdale Condominiums is the owner of the property. yes.
Is not the owner?
Is the owner.
Is, okay,
Lionsgate's just a management company.
right. White Sale, Lionsgate, okay. Now I have on the declaration in the deed here, oh, here it is, White Sale, this plan for White Sale condominiums. The deed says this is declaration owned by South Lake Holding Company Incorporated. It says on here,
I think
White
that's the
Sale.
name that was used when it was constructed.
Well, in the deed, it notes that this property is called White Sale Condominiums, but that the owner of this property is South Lake Holding Company, a New York Inc., a New York corporation. To be known as White Sale Condominium. Condominium ownership. I think this is fine.
What is the length of what that you're replacing?
Excuse me?
What is the total length of what you're replacing?
I think it was 120 feet. It's 120 feet, and there's about 40 feet that's right on the waterfront itself.
All right.
So I'm, I mean, there's definitely a decent area of disturbance for this. I mean, not crazy, but,
Well, it's
I don't-
less than 5,000 square feet.
so you don't need a SWIP, but I don't know about any sort of mitigation. I don't think there's anything we can do. I mean, the one suggestion I made was, you know, not have this water go, not have the weed poles go
Right.
directly to the lake or near the lake if possible. But I mean, they're right on the property line. You can't put any sort of, it's up, the rest of the property is uphill. So it's not like you can get a rain garden or infiltrator or anything like that on this property.
Did you say that the existing fence is on the property line?
The wood is on the property line. There's a, if you're
Okay.
referring to the vinyl fence, that's about a couple of feet back
Okay,
from
okay.
the top of the wall.
Yeah, when you get into the lake area,
So they're gonna be, also, I see, they're gonna be tearing up or removing some of the asphalt in the parking lot?
If we need to. Again, we'll talk with the contractors tomorrow and see if they actually need to disturb any of that.
Most of the
That asphalt's
irrigation
about
should come from
4 to
some
5 feet from
code
behind the wall.
project. I mean,
Yeah.
this is just a wall,
I know.
yeah.
And honestly, it is gonna be better for the, that area too. You won't have the, all the treated chemicals that are coming from the, wood that are leaching out over years. Who knows if there's anything left, but still.
It's already leached.
Yeah, right. Gravel connections. All right, so the fence, obviously is the fence gonna run the length of the entire entire wall as well?
Yes, so right now there's a vinyl fence up there that they're gonna take down and store it and then
Carefully.
reuse it.
you
I
can.
mean, as it is now, you're not running it toward the lake. This is the extent of the fence?
Yes,
Okay, and that's going to stay that way when you reinstall it?
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Are you so there's no new fencing area gonna be installed?
There's
right?
one portion that's the chain link fence that you could see in the photo here.
Yeah,
That would all be replaced with some new chain link fence, but
That
that's,
extends toward the lake, yeah, from.
yeah, that's only on the side of the building toward the lake, but the other vinyl fencing will be reused and put back in the same place.
Got it. And also in the file here, I think there's, might be only one copy of this, is correspondence for the New York City DEP indicating that they do not require a SWIP.
When you reinstall the fence, you're gonna put it in the existing location, you're gonna move it, pick the part that's.
Existing
by-
location.
Huh?
Existing location.
Because there's a space between the wall and the fence.
Yeah, it's about, 2 feet.
Well, there seems to be more on the lake.
That's, oh, you mean like where it turns?
Right.
Yeah, that's about 4 feet over there.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
It's about 4 feet.
You're gonna, okay,
There's a fence over there, it's about 4 feet back
Okay.
from the end of the
The
wall.
one that's on the land, okay, that's almost on the wall.
It's about 2 feet behind,
How many?
almost about 2 feet behind the wall.
Okay.
All right, so can you also walk us through how you plan on doing the construction and removal of the wall? So I guess remove the wall and construction, actually in the lake area. So you get down to the lake, you're removing all the the wood beams until you get to the lake area where it starts getting wet. What's the plan there?
Okay, so if you see in the plans on the sheet 5, instead of excavating, because I don't want to have to build a dam and de-water or anything, we're not going to excavate into the land. We're going to do helical piles, which does not create any disturbance. And then on top of those piles, we will put a precast concrete, quote-unquote, shelf that then all the blocks would be resting on.
How long should this construction take, roughly?
Pending weather conditions, probably 3 weeks maybe.
3 weeks, so you're gonna need a boom in the lake, we talked about that?
Yeah. it's in the lake.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, we want to be done before winter, but,
And
Yeah.
silt fence, I heard that, yeah.
Have we ever asked for a double boom or just a single? I mean, we're talking about a lot of wood here. And if it's actually degrading, you start pulling them out, you're getting these crazy amount of wood chips. I actually just did a very similar project, not in the water, obviously. We're removing a lot of old timbers. but, I mean, do you think that it's necessary or not necessary?
It's not a bad idea, but I don't know what the condition is. I
Most
haven't
of this
taken a
wood
look
is,
at it, so-
is in
Is this gonna
preserved
flake off?
condition.
Is
you
this
know?
stuff really rotten? It's gonna really flake
It's not so
off?
much that it's rotten, it's that it's leaning and it's bulging.
So it's pretty much intact?
Right, it'll
It-
stay
it
together
is.
when you start
It
pulling
is.
it out.
It's not like deteriorated like from.
Okay, that's a different story, then. That's
Okay.
fine.
I don't think a double is necessary.
Okay. I also saw I'm looking through the pages here, where did I see that? That you're gonna be putting some, what is it called? Some rocks in the lake as well. Did I see that?
Yeah.
On, sheet 5,
Yep.
there's a cross-section DD,
DD.
and it's very small in these ones, but it shows that there's armor stone that will be put up against the blocks in the lake, but I assume that was just a standard detail that was not, oh no, it is the helical piles there, so can you describe that a little bit? What does that actually mean?
Well, according to the manufacturer, that's just to prevent the water from scouring the precast concrete stones. So they recommend putting like some boulders there to, break the water up.
Are you going to be doing that? Is that part of the plan?
Yes,
So we'll need some sort of a.
like a clean fill.
I assume so, right? I mean, what kind of stones are these? Are you,
How big? What's this?
Well, I mean, unless we could use the stones that are already there in the water.
I'm not sure you should be excavating in the water to pull
Well, I'm
stones
trying to avoid the excavating in the water. But we could,
to use for this. So, here's the deal. Whatever you're putting in the lake, you need to have some sort of a certification saying
Okay.
that's clean, right? That it's
Yeah.
not coming from a contaminated surface, or it's not coming from that's not contaminated at all.
Is that for erosion or reinforcement? What is the stones for?
scouring, so like, yeah, so that the water doesn't damage the precast concrete
Okay.
blocks. Or the tidal movements of the water. The rocks just break it up.
All right, help to mitigate it, okay.
If these armor stones that you plan on putting in end up being some sort of a manufactured product, please make sure you have to include some sort of data sheet in the file for that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, detail, yeah.
Detail. I don't have anything else.
Do you need a data sheet for the actual precast concrete stones also?
Wouldn't hurt to include that. I think that would be, I mean, I know you included a lot of detail in here about that already, but if there is a data sheet for that, sure, throw it in. One other question, so the only poured concrete that how are these things, the stones connected? Are they just laid on top of each other? Are you putting epoxy, are you putting,
They're just laid on top of each other. There's only 3 blocks high, we're not,
right, sometimes the manufacturers require you to put some sort of epoxy on there as well, but that's fine. Are you putting any pins in them to keep them stable against each other?
again, they don't require it for such a small height of a wall.
Okay. If you do, when you're going through this, if you do end up needing for using epoxy, so I mean, maybe we should make that part of this, is that no epoxy is going to be used or no
Yeah.
material. If you do need to, that's fine. You need to include the data sheet for that as well.
Okay.
No. Stones. And I think that's it. So let me just go over the notes that I have for here real quick. We need some sort of indication that the owners of Swan Cove, the abutting property, are okay with the project that is going to be going forward here. We need on the site plan where you're going to be putting the silt fence, the actual locations of that. We will need you to add a note about where the stockpile area is. I know you had a storage, you made storage, but please just add the term stockpile where you're going to be putting all the timbers. There's going to be quite a lot of them. Also, how you will be hauling this. So meaning, are you going to be leaving it all there and then taking it all at the end? Or are you going to be taking it as you go every day? However that is. For any materials that you're bringing into the property, that's the fill that's going behind it, or the armor stones you're going to be using, we need a certificate saying that it's clean fill. A note indicating that you're going to be putting 4 to 6 inches of topsoil up to the actual blocks, so with all the fill and then topsoil on top of that. The weep holes that are closest to the land, I'm sorry, the weep holes that are going to be, that are listed in the, as part of the stone diagrams that are closer to the lake, should be driven in as far as possible, meaning instead of them leaking directly onto the land or into the lake that is close to the lake, come in some into the property line as far as you can, and then have it the weep hole exit. A note indicating that on the map here, I'm sorry, on your plan, that the wetland inspector needs to come by before or after you install any erosion control measures.
That's actually in the.
You have that? And then also after you finish the work, but before you remove the erosion control measures. So that includes the silt fence and the boom.
So in note 3,
Mm-hmm. And shall not remove without prior permission from town, Cornwall ECB. Yeah, wetland inspector is fine. Okay. And this just reminded me, are there any actual drains on that side of the property? I know you mentioned before that there was one far away that possibly ran into the lake, or maybe not, but do we want to make sure that the, like, manholes or, that the...
Just verify that there are no drains on there.
Yeah.
You'll have to come back.
you mean
with-
drain lines from the parking lot, or?
Yeah, if there, yeah.
Where you're gonna be doing all the storage and where you're
Right,
gonna be where
right.
you're gonna be putting where you're gonna be doing fueling and putting the vehicles and machines. If there are drains there, you'll need to do some sort of protection around them, hay bales, socks that prevent anything from going into them, that kind of thing. And that's part of the erosion control measures here.
Are you gonna be using the town property to store equipment? Meaning in the Swan Cove area, that project that they're building? I'm just wondering where you're gonna put it, the parking lot?
Well, everything's going to be stored in the parking lot.
Yeah, they're closing off
Okay.
part of the parking lot they have.
Okay.
They, I think I saw that on one of the maps.
After meeting with the contractors tomorrow, we'll see
Okay.
if that's totally impossible, and that if we need to do something from the other side.
Yeah, Ed, so here they're putting construction fence into the parking lot
Okay, good.
and storing all
See
stuff there.
that. Oh, yeah, okay.
All right, so, data, we'll
Yeah,
also
all right.
need the data sheets for the concrete, include that. A note saying that you're not gonna be using any epoxy or cement for the stone connections. And, as, Vince said, verify no drains there. So that's what we have. I don't think we can vote on this tonight. There's a lot of things that we
No,
still
no.
need.
No.
But other than that, if you can get that stuff by us for next meeting, I think we'll have no problem voting on this. And just for the record as well, I did look through this deed pretty carefully. It mentions in here the name of the condominium, Whitesell Condominium. It says, as I said before, sponsor of the actual deed is South Lake Holding Company Incorporated. I'm assuming that because those two are connected in the deed, that we're okay with the Whitesell Condominiums note indicating that they have, they're authorizing Paul Rivens here to file on behalf of Whitesell Condominiums. All right. Anything else from anybody? All right. So hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah. All right, we have one agenda that we can vote on this evening, and that is from 6-4. And also for the record, Penny Michael is not here for this evening. So we'll move on to our last item, which is minutes. January 2nd, Ed Barnett cannot vote for. But we can vote on this, right? 3 is a quorum, so,
He was here at that meeting.
what was that?
The three of us were at that
Oh,
meeting.
wait. You weren't with us on January 2nd
No,
meeting,
no,
right?
I wasn't.
Right, and actually, there was an email indicating that we just need to get confirmation for that. So we'll skip that one. 6-4, it says all were present, so we can vote on that. I'll entertain a motion for accepting the minutes of 6-4.
I'll make that motion.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 6-4. All right, so with that, are there any other business that we have? Great, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that
to
motion?
adjourn.
Second, whatever, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much, have a good evening, everyone, stay healthy and safe.